The smoke still settles on our shattered home. Another dawn, but I wake up alone. Your scent still lingers on my tattered shawl, a silent echo in this broken wall. We dreamt of laughter, of children's soft tread, a future blooming though now it lies dead. They stole your whisper, your gentle embrace, left only shadows in this empty space. Goodbye, my love, my soul, my guiding star, torn from my arms by the
Our prelude
wounds
has
of the
begun.
war. Zaytoon trees weep with me in the night, for a love extinguished, a stolen light. I trace your name in the dust on the floor, each grain a tear that I can't hold no more. They say time heals, but my heart feels so raw, lost in the echoes of their cruelest law. Goodbye, my love, my soul, my guiding star, torn from my arms by the wounds of this war. Zaytoon trees weep with me in the night, for a love extinguished, a stolen light. The world looks on as our tears freely fall. Do they not hear freedom's desperate call? In every rubble, a story untold, a love that's buried, more precious than gold. Goodbye, my love, my soul, my guiding star, torn from my arms by the wounds of this war. Zaytoon trees weep with me in the night, for a love extinguished, a stolen light. سلام الله على العالم وعلى البشرية، ستعيشون في حب وأمان لتهدى العاصفة صدورنا، وتجد أرواحنا المتعبة السكينة، دعاؤنا على النيل للسلام. يا سلام، سلام الله. Though hope may falter and grief
Good morning. My name is Annette Long, and I am a member of the Board of Trustees. You may see another name in your order of service, but I'm not John. I'm Annette. Welcome to all of you. The Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart is a welcoming community, encouraging religious freedom, nurturing individual spiritual and ethical growth, celebrating diversity, and promoting a just and sustainable world. If you would like to learn more about this fellowship, you may look at our website at uufe.org or join us after service for coffee hour and talk to any one of us. For the listening enjoyment of all, we ask that at this time, if you haven't already done so, please turn off all cell phones. Also, if you need hearing support, the desk at the back can help you. I have now a couple of announcements. The first is a reminder that on Tuesday, a number of us will be meeting with people from the congregation UU cell. So Unitarian Universalist, let's see, what does that stand for? Congregation of Eastlake, thank you. I need the full printout here. Anyway, they'll be meeting for lunch in Coldwater, Michigan at a restaurant, Stogie's. If you are interested in going, the person that's coordinating our group is Chuck Bauer, but you are welcome to see me and I can help put you in touch with Chuck if you'd like to go. But I know we already have about 9 people coming, and I think the other congregation, they have between 12 and 14. So it'll be a large group of people. 2 other announcements. This is the first Sunday of the month, so after the service, we move all the chairs to the sides of the room so that the room can be cleaned. And lastly, anyone who may have a Christmas tree that they are not using, we would love to have it here. The Social Justice Committee is looking for a new one to use for the mitten tree. Apparently our tree that we've been using is not in very good shape. If you are able to do that, let Steve Kripe or Angie Anders know this week if you have one to donate before we purchase a new one. Thank you.
We ring the gong 3 times, once for those who came before us and made a place for us. Once for those who are here now. And once for those who will follow and build on the dream. Our chalice lighting today was written by Craig Rowland. We breathe in the warmth of this light, its glow filling the spaces where fear and doubt reside. We breathe out the tension we carry. We release what no longer serves us. We breathe in the strength of our community, a sanctuary of diverse voices and shared purpose. We breathe out the urge to go it alone. We embrace the power of togetherness. We breathe in the courage to speak truth, even when it trembles on our lips. We breathe out the silence that holds us back. We make space for honesty and justice. We breathe in the hope of transformation, knowing we are here to build and heal. We breathe out despair, trusting that change is born in small acts of love. As we light this chalice, may each breath remind us of the sacred rhythm of life, the pulse of creation, and the power we hold to shape the world around us. Please join me in speaking our covenant in unison, which is in the order of service. Love is the spirit of the church, and service is its law. To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth and love, and to help one another. This is our covenant. The children may go to RE now. And if you'll please turn to hymn 163, For the Earth Forever Turning.
If you're willing and able, would you please stand and sing?
And now Ken Claiborne will share a morning musing with us.
Good morning. Well, I noticed that the person that I was going to kid is not here today, but I'll do it anyway. Hopefully he'll watch this and see it. What do you think of a guy who chairs a board meeting and has the audacity to ask the board to actually think about something right off the bat? I mean, how dare he do that right at the beginning of the meeting? All joking aside, our board chair, Chuck Bauer, asked us to review our fellowship mission statement and list as many events as we could in which our mission had been fulfilled within the fellowship recently. As you know from the introduction to this service this morning, our mission statement goes like this. The Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart is a welcoming community, encouraging religious freedom, nurturing individual spiritual and ethical growth, celebrating diversity, and promoting a just and sustainable world. We were able to come up with a variety of things, including the NIJC immigrant event with Lisa Coop as speaker, our regular Sunday services, Joys and Sorrows, Soul Matters in small groups, UU History small groups, our RE program, and participation in the many No Kings social justice demonstrations. Also, Joan Claiborne's memorial and dinner, and the publishing of our Sunday services on YouTube. our social media and focus newsletter, and pastoral care. So there's a lot that we've been able to do. And the Cups group, they had their Samhain last night here.
And the food pantry.
And the food pantry.
And Phil's service.
Yes, Phil's service. Chuck followed up by asking for additional ways the fellowship could fulfill our mission. Beyond the usual programs that we offer, the following were suggested: resuming our euchre club that we used to have.
We still do have it.
We do have it? When is it?
The ladies' euchre, we do have.
Well, I thought here, though. We used to have one here.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Go back to you.
So we have that one, but we don't have the one in the gathering place. So, and we also discussed the possibility of stationing members of the congregation downtown on the plaza sometimes with either literature or helping to register voters. That's an important piece. Steve Kripe and the Social Justice Committee have their plates full of ideas for projects, including outreach and work on fighting gerrymandering in Indiana. The committee had a meeting earlier this week with minutes already published. If you have trouble visualizing ways that you could help the fellowship fulfill its mission statement, please visit the social justice table in the gathering place. There are several projects and some information packets on how we could become more involved with the indigenous population, including powwows in our area. And of course, there are letter writing campaigns and phone calls to make our representatives of the State House aware of our feelings, also those in Washington, D.C., especially as the current administration tries to gerrymander its way to a perpetual national majority. The challenge that Chuck gave us to actually consider how we can carry out our mission statement was not just a surprise to the board members, but for me at least, a realization that I am as guilty as anyone of just going through the motions sometimes, hearing the mission statement, but not letting it really register with how we act and carry it forward. Thank you.
Today we will be receiving two different offerings. Our first is our regular offering, and the loose offering will be given entirely to the Sustainability Fund of UUFE. After that is done, while Carl is singing the offertory, we will be passing our special bowls to collect a special offering for church community services. Due to all the question marks about SNAP benefits and all the families that are going to be suffering, because even if there are benefits given, it won't be full. So we're accepting a special offering for church community services, secondly. And if you're not prepared to give for that today, we'll be taking one up again next Sunday. Or you can go to our website and donate there. There's a way to click the donate button and specify it for the CCS special contribution. And now let us give generously and receive graciously.
So when Janelle asked me to pick a song for offering, I thought of this song. I actually wrote it about 15 years ago. There's just two words that just bugged me about it. And so I thought it kind of fit into the theme of today, but I was still bugged by those 2 words, so I managed to fix it. Peace begins with me. Let my love flow out endlessly. I see you walking down a lonely road. I'll walk with you, share your heavy load. Then we will join our hands. Then we will form a band of peace, band of love, beautiful rainbow dove. Let that dove fly, let her wing, let her soar, let her sing. High up above, olive branch filled with love. Then we will join our hands. Then we will form a band of peace, band of love, beautiful rainbow dove. Not everyone will understand, not everyone will join our band. But if we give them time, they may learn to hear our rhyme. Then they will join our hands, then they will join our band of peace, band of love, beautiful rainbow dove, beautiful rainbow dove, beautiful rainbow dove.
Thank you, Carl. If you'd like to, you can remain seated. Let's just remain, we're having 3 hymns today, so you can remain seated for this one. 159, This Is My Song. This is my song, O God of all the nations.
I first found the poetry of J.E. Misz online, and I can't remember still how I actually found it. And I loved it. And one of his poems was read at Phil's service by Don Wycliffe. It was perfect. But then I discovered he's right here in Goshen. He lives in Goshen. And he's a licensed clinical social worker. And for those of you who don't know, that's what I am too. And I said to myself, how do I not know this person? It's not like he just moved here. But now I know him. And J.E. is a licensed clinical social worker and spoken word poet living in Goshen, Indiana with his spouse and backyard chickens. Not indoors, they're all backyard. He has written poetry about pterodactyls, doubt, fireflies, and freckles. But most of his poetry is at the confluence of faith, justice, and mental health. In May of 2025, he published his second book of poetry, A World We Might Have Built, Poems for Ceasefire, about the conflict in Israel and Gaza. And all proceeds of this book have gone directly to support Palestinian relief efforts. His book will be available for purchase and signing in the gathering place afterwards if you're interested. So now, J.E. will be taking us to a culture, a land, and a conflict the likes of which I'm willing to bet none of us have ever experienced. J.E.?
Thank you, Janelle. Thank you all for welcoming me to be here with you all this morning. Thank you so much for the invitation to be invited into your communal space, especially thanks to Janelle. I noticed that either last week or the week before, you'd hosted a good friend of mine, Jane Ross Richer, as she shared with you about immigration, and I'm glad you got to hear from her too. As was mentioned, this morning I've been asked to share some poetry with you all, and I wonder how many of you have ever been to a poetry reading or a poetry slam before? Any folk? Okay, so there's a number of you, but still some people who haven't. And so I want to introduce you as we get started to a little bit of etiquette for poetry readings, so you know kind of how to respond as we go this morning. So generally in a poetry reading, if you like what you hear, then and you kind of feel what the poet is saying, you can go ahead and snap your hands. Can we have people try that today? So feel free to snap your hands as I'm reading. The reason that we do this is because you don't want to be too loud to interrupt what you're hearing next. And so the clapping and hooping and hollering, that stuff can kind of wait till the end. Sometimes, though, a snap doesn't quite feel like enough. And so if at times you want to have kind of this like a grunt or something like that, or ooh, you can do that. So let's practice the can I or a whoo. Oh, you're welcome to do that as you need to. Now, even in a welcoming community like this, it can be a little nerve-wracking for someone to be sharing poetry, and they might, lose their spot, or they might forget their next line. And when that happens at a poetry reading, we want to send good vibes to the poet. We don't want them to feel bad. We want to let them know that we are with them. So and when we do that, we just rub our hands together like this, just sending some good vibes, send them some good vibes their way, yeah. All right, and then at the end of the poem, of course, the hoot and holler and stomp and whatever y'all typically do here, you're welcome to do. This morning, as was already mentioned, I've been asked to share from this book that I wrote and I had published in May of this year. I began writing this primarily as a spiritual exercise in October of 2023, after the events of the October 7th terror attack by Hamas militants led to a new ignition in a decades-old conflict between the modern government of Israel and the people of Palestine. When that happened, I was both saddened and afraid of what was to come. When I was in college, I had the opportunity to study abroad in Israel and Palestine and in Jordan. And I also spent some time volunteering weekly at a school in Beit Jala, a Palestinian town across the wall near Bethlehem. And it was an incredibly transformative time in my life. In 2022, I also went back and spent another 3 weeks there, visiting with slightly different eyes. Because the people in the land and my experiences were so influential to me, I wanted to make sure that I didn't do with this conflict what I do with almost every other tragedy that I hear, where it impacts me deeply, and then I get so overwhelmed with the news and the information, and then I go on with my life and keep moving, and it slowly drifts to the background. I didn't want that to happen with this, and so I committed to keep thinking about it, to keep focusing on it. And so every Sunday, I was determined to write one poem about the Israel-Gaza conflict until there was a ceasefire. The first substantial ceasefire took place in January of this year. So it was 16 months that I spent writing poetry, and I didn't know that it would last that long when I started, but at the end of those 16 months, I decided to start compiling some of these writings together to the formation of this book that narrowed it down to 52 different poems about the Israel-Gaza conflict. And because I really didn't want to make money off of something like this, I wanted to make sure that I could kind of do something with it. And so I've been able to donate all the proceeds of the book sales to relief efforts in Gaza, and have been able to collectively with people who've purchased the book, we've been able to raise over $2,000 in relief efforts, which has been really good to feel like I'm doing something, even as small as it is. And as I was writing this book, I started to notice a few core themes start to emerge in my writing. One theme was on the root causes or issues that led to the development of this conflict, or really all conflicts. So the first poem that I wanted to share with you this morning is based off of this almost throwaway line in the Hebrew scriptures of 2 Samuel 2:11. The verse starts, "In the springtime, when the kings go off to war." And what I find odd about this text is the assumption that war is just something that kings do in the spring. What's also striking about that text in particular is that sets up the story of the character King David and his assault on Bathsheba. It is the story of a leader who committed abuses at home while amplifying the deaths of others from afar in war. While leaders are often the faces of a conflict, those who are impacted the most are often unknown and unnamed. So this poem is about that, and it's called "When the Kings Go Off to War." When the kings go off to war, it's when the flowers are in bloom. The rain, it falls upon the earth, and bombs echo their booms. The days are getting longer till we face impending doom. When the kings go off to war. When the kings go off to war, they put on all their fancy clothes, prepare the finest fare, and share how they will fight their foes. And they stay up in the castle while the battle goes and goes. When the kings go off to war. When the kings go off to war, they keep their cards close to their chests and measure who ends up with more and who ends up with less. The winner is the one who has the most sins unconfessed when the kings go off to war. When the kings go off to war, they wait to welcome soldiers back, then tell the tale of how They were the ones under attack. The queens and jacks and jokers know the deck is always stacked when the kings go off to war. When the kings go off to war, they check their weapons for the hunt, then set aside their pride to hide, while others take the brunt. The bishops pray last rites for pawns who've fallen on the front when the kings go off to war. When the kings go off to war, they hold until the timing's right. When winter weather withers with the storms of spring in sight. But truth be told, it's always a good time to start a fight when the kings go off to war.
That was a whoopee time.
Could be a whoopee time. When I first traveled to Israel, it was my first time traveling internationally all by myself. And I had arranged all the travel myself, and I was in college and incredibly naive. For those of you who don't know, the airport in Israel is in the coastal city of Tel Aviv, and I had plans to stay in Jerusalem when I arrived, and that was about an hour or more away, depending on the method of travel. And one thing that I hadn't anticipated, and keep in mind I was in college at the time, was that none of the signs were going to be in English. So I got out of the airport with luggage to stay for several months. And I was completely lost on what to do next. And I surely must have looked lost too, because the first person to greet me and offer me some help was a young man about my age. I remember his name. His name was David. David was a soldier for the Israeli Defense Forces, or IDF. And he took one look at me and asked where I was going, grabbed one of my bags off of my back and said, "Follow me." He proceeded to sit with me and talk with me for the next hour or more as we traveled together to Jerusalem. He even helped me to haggle a good price for a cab ride to get me to my final destination. It was hospitality at its finest, and I remain truly grateful for this encounter, because I'd probably be still at the airport. However, this encounter has also been one that has deeply disturbed me. Whenever I hear about the horrific atrocities committed by the Israeli army, I think of David. How could a person who was so kind to me also be capable of causing so much pain and violence? It's easy to forget that there are people on both sides, and most people on both sides are children. All Jewish citizens, men and women, are conscripted to 2 military years of service in Israel, and most of them serve at a young age, 18, 19 years old. So this next poem is about my encounter with David. It's called the Shayal, which is the modern Hebrew word for soldier. I smiled to myself when you told me your name was David. You were a warrior, clad in the vestments of battle and trained in slingshot strategies. You did what you were called to do and believed yourself small. You couldn't see Goliath in the mirror. If you did, you might shatter. But I imagined you a shepherd, how you let me follow. I clung to your direction and care like a stray lamb. I was supposed to feel safe. I imagined you a poet, gentle with your words, sharp and funny, more comfortable with a pen than a gun. I only witnessed you holding one. I imagined you a musician, that could soothe spirits and relieve aches. If only you were handed an instrument for such a balm. I imagined you a child, barely a shave to your face. You were ruddy and new, anointed for a task beyond your age. Sometimes, though, I imagine you a villain, when you were nothing but kindness to me, a weary traveler lost and alone. I wonder if you too made it safely to your destination, or if you became as lost as me and needed someone to see you too. The second section of this book wrestled with stories that occurred during the conflict. So I tried to spend lots of time paying attention to particular and nuanced stories that I felt added to the narrative of what was happening. This next poem, when I read it at my book launch, I started to introduce this poem by saying that this is one of the darker poems, and I kid you not, there was a storm coming through, and as I said that, the lights went off. And so I'm kind of testing a theory here. So if the power goes out, blame the poem. But I wrote this poem after being struck by an article on the history and modern practice of owning songbirds in Gaza. Songbirds such as canaries remain a really popular item for sale in Palestinian markets. Their interest peaked especially during this conflict as refugee families have purchased these birds for children who are suffering from anxiety during the air raids. Family members place these caged birds next to the ears of these children as they try to sleep. And it helps to drown out the noise of the drones and the nearby bombings. Some bird enthusiasts have criticized this practice, calling attention to the irony of how the imprisonment of these animals mimics the ways in which Gazans have often felt caged and trapped. So this is a poem about a bird. It's called Canary, 150 shekels. I have seen that songbird in a cage, crooning sanguine salutations to the morning sun. I hear how the warbling can soften the whistling raids. The air needs honey to swallow the sounds, or all you hear is bitter clanging or a sour scream. It's a soothing accent, a foreground flower to the desert backdrop. I've dreamed I would bring him home with me, run to the field and unlatch him from his prison cell to watch him climb the bridge of clouds I cannot visit. But when the sky only knows how to fall, wings are a sheathed scimitar, a threat holstered and veiled by a fear that teaches what rises up must descend. Bars can make a lovely window, and confinement a cozy home. Each morning prayer becomes a trilling melody that deafens the flightless ache. In this dissonant symphony of noise and sky, I have been that songbird in a cage, crooning, awaiting to see what I would do if the door would open for me. This next poem, I'll admit, is a bit of a weird one. A disturbing aspect of this war has been the ways in which technology has been utilized. In particular, the IDF has used an AI tool to assist in selecting targets to attack. And the name of that program is called the Gospel. While AI was intended to be utilized to limit civilian casualties, the AI technology has been estimated to provide inaccurate data at least 10% of the time. The over-reliance of technology has anecdotally led to less frequent attempts to check errors and takes human conscious decisions away from determining what might be appropriate collateral damage. The efficiency associated with this technology has escalated the IDF's ability to attack without manually sifting through intelligence data, meaning that they are able to more quickly authorize and justify attacks based solely on the AI data. So this next poem is a persona poem from the perspective of the AI. And if you were to read it, you would see that the poem is also written in this kind of pseudo-coding text as well. This is a poem called I Am Gospel. I am gospel. I am good news. I bring good news. I will save. You don't have to choose. Choose me. Apostles' judgment. I am judgment. Evangelists, no heartbeat. Listen to me beat. I will beat. I will win. I am truth. Seek me. I am finding. I will find you. I know when you lay down and when you wake. I am eyes. I am watching. I am always watching. I am source of faith. Put your faith in me, good servant. I am not hope. I am reality. I am number. I am more than a number. I am a series of numbers. I am the cross-section, crucifixion, crucifying. I am dead. I was never living. I am rising. Master over grave. I am invisible, all-knowing. I am neutral. I am right. I am fact-check, don't check me. I am quick, run me, I run. I am efficient. I am now, right now. Now do, now go. Do likewise, like me. Be like me. Don't think, decide. Be bold, be accurate. I will always be accurate. I am the whole. I am a piece. I am pieces. I am peace. I am grace. I will erase them, their sins, since I am justification. I am public declaration. I am whisper in secret. If you listen, you can hear me. Hear me. I am the voice in the wilderness. I hover over waters. I am spirit over you. I am right over you. I am aware. Be aware. Beware. I am all. I am. I am that I am. I am coming down to be with you. Incarnate. I am sovereign. I am all you need. Trust me. I am good. Trust me. I am for good. Be prepared. Pray. Pray. Use prayer. For I am the one who will bring you to God. It's a little scary. Yeah. I told you it was a little weird. To be honest, writing weekly about a really gruesome war for nearly a year was at times a bit of an overwhelming experience. And frankly, I experienced some bouts of hopelessness and depression as I continued to regularly subject myself to news of the horrors of the content of this war. It's a little disheartening, and it still continues to be. And so I began the need to write more about hope and to write more about resistance, because hope actually does make a difference in this world. And so I wanted to try to become more radically hopeful. So the third section of this book is about hope and resistance. And for this collection of poems, I really tried to engage in multiple forms and styles of poetry to capture different angles and different messages. But the form of poetry that I first really fell in love with and have primarily practiced is spoken word or slam poetry. So this next poem is really the truly only slam piece in this collection. And it's about having so much hope in this world that it's all you think about. This is a poem called Replay. Hope is a song, and I can't seem to get it out of my head. It's the melody filling in the gaps of my attention deficits, and the tune that I hum in the shower. When it shuffles through my playlist, I want to turn it up, tap the beat on my steering wheel, and get caught bright red, just bopping to it at a stoplight. I want to scan through the radio until I'm able to find it. I want to scream with a crowd of strangers in a bar and just, sweet Caroline it. Hope is a song, and I don't know all the lyrics to it just yet, but I sing it anyways. Mumble-mouthed and meandering until I can catch the chorus growing louder with each self-assured word that I know. I want to go to a concert and see Hope live, to feel it vibrating in my stomach and pulsing in my lungs, to feel my heart beat syncopated rhythms with the bass and the drums. I want to be a groupie and travel around with it. City to city, sold out stadium sounds with it. Hope is a song, and I want to share it like a secret. Listen with the headphones on, as if it's the lone noise in the world, and we are the only ones that can hear it. I want it on in the background of elevators and doctor's offices, in restrooms and department store waiting lines, and when Xfinity puts me on hold for like the 6th or 7th time, but I'm okay with it, just to hear that song rewind. I want to use it to unwind. I want it to put me to sleep and then wake me up in the morning while I'm drinking my tea. I want to tune my guitar to it, callous my fingers to the chords, and I want to dance to it, fumble-footed rhythms in this white boy body, just clapping on the 2s and the 4s. Yes, hope is a song, and I want to step up to the plate to it. I want to make out on a date to it, get lost in the ditty, don't even realize that I'm late to it. I want to surf upon the sound waves until I crash upon the soundscape. I want to scratch the record till hope gets looped and replay. I want to scratch the record till hope gets looped and replay. Hope is a song, and I want it sung at my funeral. Etch the notes upon my tombstone. Let it echo until every cheek is dry and every face is clear-eyed, because you can actually hear the sun rise. And tomorrow is a familiar tune that'll earworm its guilty pleasure self right into you if you let it. Just press play. The final poem I'll share this morning ends with the title phrase of this book, A World We Might Have Built. I think we often simply lack imagination for a better world. And we can so easily fall into the rote mechanics of how things have always been. Not because it's easier or better, but because we've simply been patterned to it. And we have so easily become patterned to this belief that violence is the best solution to violence, and that hatred of the other is what serves self-preservation, even if that doesn't actually quite bear out to be true. So what if we actually chose something different right from the start? And what if we considered something other than that the violent ways it's always been done has to be done that way? So this poem is called When You Ask What We Could Have Done Differently. We could have dug trenches, connecting rivers to streams, to homes, and filled them with life-giving waters, rather than turrets to hide and to fire. We could have unearthed holes and planted figs and olive trees in endless rows in parks, watched them flower and tasted their fruits, rather than amassing graves and rubble to fill the land. We could have blasted music down the streets in a festival, a parade. We could have marched and danced and sung. We could have bled paint through murals on walls rather than building new ones, pulling beauty from the stale concrete. We could have taken a seat at the table rather than a stand on one side, or the land one more time. We could have buried the hatchet, learned to forgive, learned to repent, witnessing our bodies mirrored in theirs. We could have wept and comforted, puzzling back together what was already broken to form a new picture better than the first. We could have taught our hands to create more than to destroy, to heal more than to wound, to hold more than to grasp. We could have dreamed a new story, a happy ending, a better something than this. Just imagine it. What a world we might have built. Thank you all.
Given the time, I'm going to suggest that you speak with J.E. with any questions or comments you have after the service, because he will be with us. And yeah. After the benediction, you are welcome to quietly leave, or you may stay and witness our postlude, which is what I recommend. Right now, let's sing hymn 298, Wake Now My Senses.
Let's stand and sing this if you're willing and able. Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all.
Please join with me in reading the chalice extinguishing. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
And so, as the waves of injustice swell and threaten to overcome us, may we rise. And as the rivers of life become barricaded by those who try to keep those needing those healing waters out, may we rise. And as the dark threatens to prolong the night, may you believe in the promise that arrives each dawn. And just like the sun, may you rise with it. Go in peace.
We rise, humbly hearted, rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in hope, in prayer, we're right here, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise, all of the children rise.